Well, hello there. Oh, looks like my last video about Silksong triggered a lot of people. Обожаю запах горелых жоп по утрам. It's really funny. People rushed to defend Silksong but didn't even watch the video. Seriously. Only 7% watched till Act 3, and just one person left an actual constructive comment. All the rest can be summed up with one phrase: Git Good. Most defenders completely missed what I was saying. Despite all its problems, Silksong is still a normal game. Not a masterpiece, but definitely not trash. If it were that bad, I won't have bothered to speedrun it. And funny to read these comments. The difficulty part was the smallest section of my video. I was talking mostly about bad balance, short economy, gameplay padding, and poorly designed boss fights. Some people told me runbacks aren't a big problem, but no one asked the obvious question: why the hell are they even in the game? What do they add? What interesting situation do they create? None. Absolutely none. They exist only because some level designer called perform basic self-analysis. And no, it's not part of the game idea, because some bosses, who easy enough, have benches very close, and the one who hard enough have it too far. For example, Last Judge and Phantom. Also, I can't understand why I always need to watch the cutscene. For example, full run back to Lost Lace. You know what is good runback? For example, Ninja Gaiden 4. Good runback is absence of it. Games like Hollow Knight, where you definitely will hard stack on bosses, should not to punish you for desire to try again. Think what I like in Ninja Gaiden is what game restore your items when you restart. Also, I've seen argument tools are optional. And what? Why if I want to use it, I need to grind it? For example, in the first game magic also was optional, but game didn't punish you for a desire to use it. Even more, game encourage you for playing in a fun way, but here game punish for that. For another example, Neo 2. That game allows you to play in it in different ways, and one of these way is playing through magic and ninjutsu, what demand special consumables, and that consumables restore on checkpoint for free. That's why a player won't be fear to use it in boss fight. In Silksong you also can try to use tools, but very fast you will find out what you have lack of shards and need to grind it. And what even more pissed me off is need to farm something in Metroidvania. Is I need to explain why this is dumb game design decision? Metroidvania is not about grind, it's about exploring. In this regard, the Hyperlight Drifter was very good. For people who didn't play in it, Hyperlight Drifter don't have common currency. Instead, you need to collect gear bits. After you collect 4, you get it turns into one kit, what you can spend on upgrades. This is objectively better than currency mechanic in Silksong and Hollow Knight, because in Hollow Knight in-game there is nowhere to spend currency. In Silksong they try to balance it, but make it even worse. Same tools problem also exists in Sekiro Shadow Die Twice. I beat this game several times, and in first time I played without mods. But on second I installed mods that made Spirit Emblems free, what removed need in farm. And I started to use all tools, and it was fun. And what surprise, it didn't broke game balance. And yet, people defend such flaws through personal experience. One of the base game design analysis principles is game properties superior than individual experience. For example, if in a game with huge number of forks in the row, one of them contains a crucial item, without which the gameplay would be much worse. That's a problem. Even if someone in such a game is lucky enough to take the right fork, that doesn't negate the fact that there's a high chance of taking the wrong one and ruining their playthrough. We don't talk about I beat this boss from one try and I've not. This is not skill issue. Not every player, after even 60 tries on boss, will go in different place and find some item what let him kill boss in 3 strikes. Most of player will go on YouTube to watch how other player beat this moment. And if a player needs to read guides to beat the game, it means the game designer failed to do his job. Okay, enough of Silksong. Let's talk about Git Gud and what people mean when they call something hardcore. What is Git Gud in my understanding? Git Gud is a term describing a rhetorical stance or argumentation pattern in which any criticism of game mechanics, balance or design is dismissed through an appeal to the player's supposed lack of skill. Within the Git Gud phenomenon, all forms of difficulty are interpreted as a personal failure to adapt, rather than a potential design flaw. This mindset justifies poor design, turning suffering into a badge of true hardcore. In reality, it's an anti-analytical defense mechanism where endurance replaces understanding. In places where you suffered, I killed boss with magic, and majority of Dark Souls players consider this as forbidden, because this is not a hardcore. But I want to ask you why I should deny from 25% of content just because this content is poor balanced. Do you even understand that 70% of players denied using magic just because it's for noobs? As a result, they would never use one of the basic mechanic, and for them Blue Flask is useless. I remember how I tried to play Dark Souls 3 through magic. And you know what? It was more interesting than a physical build. And finally, mana has become something to watch out for. And I'm deeply offended that such mechanics that could diversify gameplay, broken and forbidden by Git Gud conformists. Do you understand that in next year Miyazaki will be working in game dev for 22 years, but still didn't learn how to balance his games? If your definition of hardcore means ignoring half of mechanics, you're not playing a difficult game, you're just playing it wrong on purpose. Real skill is not about limiting yourself, it's about mastering the systems as a whole. And if a system punishes you for using its own mechanics, then the problem is not in the player. I will give you several examples of it. First one is Sekiro. Sekiro, the game builds itself around parry. It teaches you not only through text, but also through design. You must learn to parry, then add Mikiri counter, then jumping over sweeps, then maintaining aggression, and as a result you get a pure, refined gameplay loop. Second example is Ninja Gaiden, and I know what fourth game is much easier than second, but anyway I will explain using the fourth game, and I will just show you this. And then I laugh when people say choosing a class in Dark Souls is a choosing difficulty. No, it's not! Difficulty select looks like this, but when you choose your class, you choose class. As example, I take Terraria. Different classes, meal, ranged, magic, summoner, but in the endgame they all reach the same power level, just through different playstyles. That's proper design. Meanwhile, in Dark Souls, magic build can be way stronger than physical ones, and in Elden Ring, you can kill the hardest boss just by holding one button with a heavy build. That's not balance, that's fake difficulty, fake hardcore. So, here's the point. Hardcore is not about pain. It's not about suffering or proving your worth. It's about understanding, adaptation and mastery. Git Good isn't philosophy. It's coping mechanism for a bad design. Real gamers don't Git Good, they mastering.